Yesterday was quite a wild race. It was 4 of them in a row. Really, I didn't think it was going to be that amazing to sit back and race with amazing bike riders. These people have been riding these things way longer than I have. I looked at some of their mileages. Some of them have, man, 15, 16,000 miles. I think I seen one guy with like 20, 25,000. He wasn't in that race yesterday, but he was a guy who I seen racing on one of the races I was in a while back when I began, or maybe just looking around. But he was quite good. But I don't race somebody like that. He's probably like class B, most likely, if not A. Me, I'm a D, and D is for determination. D is for doing what it takes to get better. That's what the D is for. D is to try to achieve the C, doing what it takes to get to that next level. That's what D is for. Don't look at D as the bottom class. Look at D as the beginning of something great. That's the way I feel about it. So if you're a class D, which you everyone's is when you get in the bike, be proud of it. Wear it like a badge of honor. Man, D is it's given to us, but to keep it and to make it what it is, we gotta earn it. We gotta make it do what it do. And that's what we have to do sometimes. D is the beginning of greatness. And my greatness begins with that D. And even when I get to A, it won't end. That is just another beginning. I'm determined to get to A. If it takes me 5 years, if it takes me 2 years, I'm determined to get my weight down, become a healthier me. That D is so much determination that is worth having. Don't let anybody tell you that this D is manual, it's minute, something that's, discarded. This D is what we call powerful. Because like I said, D stands for determination. And I'm determined to get to A. Enough about that. Yesterday's race was beautiful. I won 2, third in the last one, demolished in the second one. But I didn't let that hold me back. I was determined to make these races good. So we're going to start revving it up. This is a 5-miler. I'm just doing something today to get started. See you at the end of the race. Go, winding up with less than 2 seconds left. 0, we off. Now, when I leave on a race like this, I'm trying to stay with the pack. As you can see, I'm closely with about 5, 6 people in front of me. And I'm going to try to stay with them for a significant amount of the race. But sometimes what I've noticed is with flat ground and me taking off, I feel like, I don't know, like a ship taking off. I think I've said that before, where as you start to pull off, I'm slow to build, especially with a flat race. And I think this one was more of a flat race, maybe a 5 or 6% incline on it. I don't exactly remember, but as I go through the race with y'all understand how I feel. So I'm looking at this pack ahead of me, and I see these guys rolling, and I'm determined to catch them. So this makes the race a little bit harder, because now I feel like maybe I was a little more tired than I normally would be from the day before. So I decided that I'm going to catch these guys, but I saw them pull off when I pulled off. And the funny thing about that is, I'm like, okay, cool. These are some really good guys. This is the reason why I can't move up yet, and I won't move up for a minute because of my weight disparity with the kilowatts that I'm putting out compared to these guys in front of me. So I'm determined to catch these guys, and I'm going, man, I'm finally in a race with a ton of Class Ds that really are pushing me. And it's not because I'm saying I'm that great, it's just that I don't know if it's the times that I race or if it's the category alone, where I'm finding that I'm winning some of the races seem like a little too easy. And I was talking on Swift Beginners on Facebook, which is a great group to get into if you're a beginner racer. You get a lot of comments, a lot of feedback from them, and you learn a lot of little things from them. So as you can see, I'm riding with him and I'm looking at these guys in front of me and I'm trying to catch them. It's fun because it gives me somebody to chase. It forces me to speed up a little bit, forces me to race with them, and all I can see is me catching them finally and going, okay, cool. I see I'm in 11th, 12th, and I'm constantly looking at the 9th place position. And with that 9th place position, I'm going, okay, cool. I didn't realize 9 people had left before me. Not knowing that this race had culminated where everybody was in like one big race as a group, and then it broke down to smaller groups. It went from A to B to C to D. So this race, when I see them in front of me, they're not mass category of D riders. It's a combination of all the riders. So in my head, I'm thinking though, because I didn't understand that this is my first 3D race, I'm thinking that I'm 8th place of the Ds. And so you can imagine me going, I gotta catch these people who are way in front of me. And I start off looking at people way in front of me, and I'm determined to catch them. And I can see them, and I know that if I keep pushing, I'll be slowly gaining on the ones in front of me. But as I can see, if you look at the list right there, I'm 8th place. Right behind me, somebody that's only less than a second away from me, he's behind me. And he's running 3.4, 3.5. And that's where I talk about being in Class D and C. The Class C guys are so much lighter that they can run numbers way higher than I can. Even though I'm outputting 450, 470, 466 watts, the kilogram disparity is really high with me. And so it makes the idea of moving up. I'm getting to the point where I can sustain 3.0 for a little while, but that's still me putting out 500 watts. And it doesn't matter if I'm that big and I can put these watts out. It's still a combination of how long I'm putting them out. And it's really a hard push for me to put that much out. I know for a smaller guy, putting out 300, 200 watts is a lot, so I understand. I'm a bigger guy, gotta make up for that. But the disparity between the Class C riders and the Class D riders is pretty big when you're starting out. The great thing that I did was I waited till at least I was level 20 to start doing that. And that gave me a chance to build up some endurance. Plus, like I say, I'm a hydro rider, which gives me a lot of endurance. In fact, today is Sunday, and I did another Swift Insider 4 yesterday, which I'm gonna display those later, but I wanted to get this one out of the way so that I can show you what I did the next day after the Swift Insider. Today, I'm just doing a free ride when I get back home, so it won't matter if it's a Swift Insider or not, which is not, Swift Insiders are only on Saturdays. And I think they do them 4 times. I want to say 5, 11, 3, and like 6 or 7 o'clock at night. They're just separated pretty wide, so they get a lot of attention. I think the one I did yesterday had 45 in my class, which was great. And I will be putting those up today. But as you can see, I'm racing here. I'm coming around the corner at 2.1, 5 minutes in, 5 minutes, 3 seconds. And you can see that I just overtook the 2 guys who was overtaking me. You have to understand, I'm seeing these guys, and it's enjoyable because they're pushing me. They're forcing me to go faster, forcing me out of my comfort zone. Because usually when I race, and I'm in a race like this, and I'm running, I'm by myself, and it's hard to stay pushed. So with them, I'm staying pushing. I see the guy behind me surge ahead of me, and he drops me back in the 10th. And I'm determined that I'm gonna stay in front of these guys. I don't know what 7, 8, 7, 6, and those guys are, but I can see that they're 22, 23 seconds ahead of me. So in my mind, they're pretty much out of reach with 3 miles left. I can probably try to put in some and try to get close to them, but I'm just hoping to stay within that group that I'm in now. They're drafting off each other. We're drafting off of each other. One hops in front of me now with the orange shirt, as you can see. He's running pretty good. And then the one with the black shirt right next to me, I'm looking at him and going, okay, he's trying to leave. And there's a group, and this is where I'm starting to learn the idea of drifting. With the guys in front of me and the guys beside me, we don't have any extra tags on the side of it telling us bonuses, I call them. where you get the feather or you get the bulldozer or something like that. We don't have those up, so the race will be more or less just us racing. And I'm constantly trying to push it because I want these guys behind me or beside me to push it. And I'm looking at this thing and I have 2.7 miles to go. We're 6 minutes and 55 seconds in, and we're still a tight group. And not saying that I'm not tired. I'm tired from the day before. When I started warming up, my legs were really sore. And I should have did a stretch routine on the mirror so I can loosen them up even more. But I did do one after the race to get myself feeling great. So as we come around this next bend, I have the three in front of me. I have the one I'm right on the tail of. And I'm trying not to let them leave me. But as you can see, we come to this incline, and this is where my weight becomes a hindrance. Because now the group is starting to pull away from me. Even though I'm putting out 500, 519, 531 watts, they're pulling away from me really easy. They're up to 4.9, 4 point, I think one of them is 5.2. And I'm at 2.8 at 400 watts, 450, 472. And there's nothing I can do because of the weight disparity. This is why I talk about these races like this, where I have to get better at this. I want to move up, but I have to lose the weight. The weight is a big hindrance to me when it comes to hills. This is a steep hill, so let me get that wrong. Let me get that clear. But if this was flat, I could roll with them pretty easy. But when it comes to hill, any kind of hill that gets over 6%, I start to really, and you can see them pulling away from me. And I'm putting out the watts. I'm 92 pedals per minute. I'm 490, 500 watts on this thing. And I'm just putting it out. And right now I'm thinking, if I can just keep the speed up where I'm at now, there should be a decline. And I can probably make up the time that they're ahead of me if I can get to the top of this thing before they really get going downhill. And that's where I'm starting to work on the endurance to really just, God, I'm about to watt this thing out at probably no telling 700 watts when I hit a hill, and I'm gonna have to sustain that so I can get over the hill and keep up with anybody that's much lighter than me. But still, you're talking 700 watts, I probably need to barely be hitting 3.2, 3.3. And as I come over the hill, I notice that I'm in 13th spot. And it comes in my head, I think to myself, that there's three in front of me that are pretty close. Can I get those three and come in 10th place? And I'm thinking, okay, don't give up. Keep the wattage up. Give your legs just a slight rest as I come around the corner. I see the one with the orange shirt ahead of me, and I think to myself, let me catch him. Give me that achievement. Give me that goal of just catching him, and that gives me a sense of accomplishment. Because yes, I know I'm ahead of some of these, but in my mind, I'm so far ahead, so far behind the rest of the Ds. Not even realizing that if you look where it says 13, it says B, C, 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 and then a D for me, and then the next D is a minute 13 behind me. I don't even realize that. That's how focused I am into this race of just let me catch these guys, not realizing they are Cs. They're not D-place guys. These are C's. So I passed the first C, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, cool, that's good. I'm really as I watch back this video, really kind of amazed that I didn't let myself get discouraged over the fact that I'm losing behind so many D's. But in my mind, I was going, this is how some people who are beginners and I lead them, this is how they feel. So this is not nothing to, if you feel bad because somebody's leaving, don't. You will eventually catch up to them. You will eventually get better, good enough so that you can ride with me or anyone else. Just don't give up. This is not a game of now. This is a marathon. This is a long race. This is something that's not going to stop. And with me coming around down to about a mile and mile point one, I see another one in front of me. He's 5 seconds ahead. He's British, so I gotta catch the British. So now I'm off running, chasing this British guy, and I'm realizing that he's 5 seconds away. We're coming up on a mile, and for me, I could probably watt it out at 500, for about 10 or 15 seconds, which will probably get me to about 1.5 miles. And I think to myself, let me see what the inclines do. And I can see up at the top as the incline I come around, it goes to a 3. But I can see it's coming down. As I look at it, I notice it's a down incline. So I think to myself, well, if I can get close enough to him, I could probably get him as long as I don't have another major hill. And as you see, we're at 0%. And I noticed that there's one more in front of him. So my goal of trying to get the 10th is really possible. I can probably do it, but I cannot waste any time. I'm down to 3/4 of a mile left in the race. I see him ahead of me. He's really, those two in front of me, the British guy, which I am coming up on. And if I just pass him with 1/2 mile left, I should be pretty happy with the race. I will come in 11th. Out of 28 people, I'll be 11th. So as I get close to him, I'm thinking to myself, okay, cool. All I have to do is pass him. We're at 1/2 mile. I can put in some wattage and let me go. And as you see, I'm at 94 pedals a minute. I'm rolling. I'm at 500 watts. And I'm thinking, okay, cool. I'm gonna pass him with less than 1/2 mile left. I said 4/10 of a mile. And I'm coming up on him and I'm passing him. And as I pass him, I look up and we're at 3/10 of a mile as I'm going past him. And there's the number 10 guy in front of me. He's 2 seconds ahead. We got 3/10 of a mile to go. And I don't know if I can catch him. So I decide that one of my accomplishments for this last thing is to catch him. And as you can see, the finish line is in front of me. I am a total of a second behind him. And we're having less than 700 feet, 800 feet to go. And I'm just powering through it. I'm up to 108 pedals a minute, 600 watts, above 600 watts. And I see the drift come up and it says okay. And I pass him with less than 250 feet to go to come in 10th on this race. This is a very exciting race for me because as it comes up, I realize not only did I come in 10th, but I was number 1 for the D's because I wasn't racing D's, I was racing C's. And that's a good feeling for me with this race. And I know that next time that this kind of race come up, I will be able to keep up with some of the C's. And I will look at that from now on and see where I land. I pull up the numbers so you can see what my number disparities is. You see Class A, Class B, Class C here, and then Class D. And as you can see, I came in 14 minutes, which puts me behind all of them, especially Class C, most of them. So thank you for watching this race. This was the day after I did my first 4. I will come back to you again with my next 4, and I have 2 races Friday, and I do my next 4 on Saturday, and I will be publishing them next week. Thank you.